My number 2 is Year of the Snitch by Death Grips. So I'm just a massive Death Grips fan, and I have been since I found the Money Store as a free album on iTunes, and just like the cover of it is like really weird, like bondage type stuff, and I just immediately was like, this looks interesting. Took me a while to actually become like a fan, because Death Grips is super inaccessible. Very hard to get into, but I think I know this from a lot of people I'm friends with. Once you get into Death Grips, once you like really like decide, you have to like kind of make the conscious decision to like them at first.
I'm going to choose to like them.
You have to make the conscious decision to like them at first, but then it just becomes like second nature. So Death Grips Year the Snitch, it's not their best album, but it was incredible. So just very grating, easy album to scream to. So very different from the last mood that was like my sad girl music. This is just my like angry, get pumped up, get ready to go music. And in particular, the songs Black Paint and Streaky. I think they were both released as singles before the album came out, but just crazy, hard-hitting, angry anthems. This one is a little bit more raw than some of their older stuff. So a lot of their older songs you can kind of follow, not like a concrete kind of storyline, like not like a serious plot with the lyrics, but you know, in the Money Store there's a couple like songs that describe, you know, breaking into someone's house, like, or like there's songs on Ex-Military that, you know, follow a plot. This doesn't have a lot of songs like that, but just it's so conceptual, and it's always fascinating for me listening to them because they're just so different. Like, so different. Just the fact that it's like so like screechy metal, experimental noise, like something I never pictured myself loving, that I'm just dedicated to. And I think this album executed it perfectly. Year of the Snitch, just really, really good. I like it. And I know Kyle can't get into it.
So here's the thing. I don't think I'm just the only one. I think Death Grips is a very polarizing band, because there's a lot of people that I listen to in terms of album reviews. There's the music nerd,
Anthony Fantano.
Yes,
yeah.
Business music nerd. He's only had 4 perfect scores on his channel, and one of them was the Money Store.
Mm-hmm.
And he for his top 50 list this year, he had it very high. But if you look at the aggregate on Album of the Year, it's not even in the top 50 in terms of that. I think maybe a couple votes, and that's basically it. It's weird because if we're talking about this, I do have a CD to recommend. It was in my top 20, which is Daughters and You Don't Get What You Want, which is very hellish in sound, the most hellish CD that I've listened to. But I enjoyed that. In the nature of it, it just felt just so raw and so weird that it was like a train wreck. You can't look away, but you need to watch it. I enjoyed that one. For the life of me, I can't get into a Death Grips album. I will say that this was the most accessible. This was the best out of the couple that I've listened to. But still, there's just something about it that I just can't okay, I see how amazing this is. And I do understand that this is really out there. It's very interesting. It's not interesting enough for me. It's like, I enjoy it. That's the problem. It's
such a weird, niche band. It's really, like you said, it's polarizing. You either like Death Grips and will enjoy anything they put out, or you're just like, I could not listen to one of these songs on any given day.
I feel like what I'm hearing is what I would feel like if I was on an acid trip. That's what I'm feeling. I can't speak from experience.
I would say more like freebasing cocaine or something.
That's fair.
The most crazy clashing of feelings and sounds, and I don't know, it got me this year. I don't know, it really did. And especially because it was just such an exciting release. The thing about Death Grips is every time they release new music, it comes out of nowhere. Nobody is expecting it until there's a mysterious tweet always that just says, Death Grips is online. That's all the tweets. And everyone all of a sudden was just we're getting music. Everyone hold up. But no, it got me this year.
To be fair, I've never listened to The Money Store. Is that the most approachable of
Yeah. So that's the way, like I said, that's the way I got into them. And the Money Store has a couple songs on it that just like, maybe I'll play you one after we do this. But there's a song like Get Got that is like, that's the first song I listened to by them that I was really like, oh, I can like this band. Like,
because so many people have recommended Death Grips to me, and like I try. It's not like a band where I'm like, I'll never fucking listen to them. It's I will try. I just can't.
I know.
I just
yeah,
can't.
No, it's hard. It really is. I'll never judge you for that. Like, I'm never gonna be like, no, you have to like them, because I know it's like not.
Like, damn it, we're not gonna be friends
It's
anymore.
like not for some people. Like, Death
Right.
Grips is not for everyone. Like, they don't like. There's a lot of people who don't enjoy listening to them, and that's fine. Like, it makes sense.
All right.
I just happen to be on the other side of that spectrum.
And I don't judge you for that.
Thanks. Appreciate
There's
you.
other things I judge you on,
True. Plenty.
like you liking trap.
Okay, wow. Yeah. No, I was expecting that one to come. yeah, I was really expecting that one.
So for something like very hard to approach to something very approachable, my number 2 this year is Miles Kennedy's Year of the Tiger. Now this is actually the lead singer of Alter Bridge. So
You're just stealing members of that band.
Well, just like they've had an incredible year in terms of bandmates. I've loved Alter Bridge for a very long time, and every CD they seem to get better. Miles Kennedy has an amazing voice. He also has been on a couple of Slash albums as well. He actually is from Boston. He has this very bluesy but very high-pitched voice at times. And he's one of my like inspirations in terms of a singer. This is a more stripped-down sound. I would say it's very bluesy. There's a little bit of country tones. There's a little bit of just like southern rock as well. But the cool thing about it is it's a concept album based all around his dad, who he lost in 1974 when he was like 5 or 6. Hence the Year of the Tiger, because in the Zodiac it was the Year of the Tiger.
Cool name.
The whole entire CD is him at like the age of 40, like almost 50, and he's talking about how he's as 50-year-old he's still dealing with the idea that he never got to meet his dad, or like never got to know his dad really, and like thinking on like the signs of like his mom, who has had to raise his him and his other siblings throughout all her life, or like the fact that as a father now, how he will deal with and making sure that he's there for his kids. Even talking about the idea of religion, there's the song called Blind Faith, which is literally about his dad being like devoutly Christian and being like, well, look at where this got you. Or a beautiful song called Nothing But a Name, where it's like, the only thing I really have of you is your name. I don't know anything else. And every song just very stripped down, but the guitar work is fantastic. It lets his voice shine through. He has such an incredible voice. He's so good at guitar, and it's really cool to hear his story, and like it's one that definitely does resonate with me. And even like the ending song, which is One Fine Day, which is very upbeat, it also talks about like happiness is also fleeting. Just like sadness is fleeting, happiness is also fleeting. The lyrics themselves at the beginning is, one fine day, this too shall fade, you never know. So you just keep moving on and just trying to live in the present and being there for the people that you have, because you don't know when it will end. So like the cool thing about it is the structure of like the beginning is like him questioning everything that happened and finally getting some sort of closure, but it's not true closure. You know that you might feel certain ways throughout your time, even when you feel this particular closure, but it's just the idea of being able to be fine with that. And I think that's a really cool message that you don't necessarily always hear in music. It's always like a sad story that has to have a happy ending. And it's like, it's kind of happy, but it's not truly happy.
Yeah, it's just like that. Oh, it's kind of a sad plot. Like kind of a, but like you're saying, like I guess it ends happy. I've honestly never heard him. I kind of want to write that one down though, especially the way you described the tone of his voice, like his singing kind of excites me, like bluesy but high pitched. I like that. And yeah, I'm sure that's like a really like profound album. How popular is this band? Why have I never heard of this band?
It's not that popular in like in the metal scene or like the hard rock scene. It's pretty popular. Okay. But like I'll give you an example. Like I saw a concert with them and Disturbed and Breaking Benjamin. Oh. Because hell yeah. And like I love Alter Bridge. They were the opening act. Gotcha. So like they're
gotcha.
Kind of popular, but not like
too well known.
But that's fine.
So I don't feel that bad about it.
I'll keep them here. Everyone else can, like, get into them later.
Okay. And then, I mean, you know my number one.
Of course.
You know my number one.
Just
because
say
I
it.
said I would get to it. Dirty Computer, Janelle Monáe. This album I've been obsessed with since its release. It's the kind of album that I just keep going back to all the time. I think the first song I heard off the album was Juice, which is just such a catchy bop. Like you were talking about it earlier, and like you said, it kind of just spans a bunch of different styles of hip-hop / pop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big pop fan. I'm really not. And this album just like changed that for me. I don't know, which is why it's so high on my list. It's just because it was so good that it got me into like pop music.
Mm-hmm.
The song Pink, which we were talking about, Grimes, I'm not a Grimes fan. I don't like Grimes. But I liked this song because it was just so weird. You know, the tone she uses in it, just like, pink like the in... Like,
yeah.
It's a little bit like skin crawly, but it's also just
very
such an
childish.
upbeat, like, yeah, it is childish, but it's also just like such an upbeat, like, fun song. And also, so many of these songs have like really feminist undertones to them. And I was saying earlier, I don't really like when albums get too political or too religious or whatever, and so I thought it would grate on me that a lot of these songs are just like incredibly overtly like in your face with their like message, but it doesn't bother me. You did say like toward the end, like some of the songs are a little harder to get into. I think it's because the album starts so strong and so poppy and so energetic that once you get down to those songs that are kind of like catering off, it can feel a little boring compared to the rest of it. I still liked like all of the songs on that album. I think Make Me Feel Make Me Feel is my go-to, like jamming in the car, so like screaming at the top of my lungs. So yeah, the beat in that song is yeah, so good. Just like, I don't know.
There's nothing better. There is no one better.
There's no one better. Janelle Monáe just, I mean, this is a very popular opinion, like you were saying, on that list of top 50, like, this is a high-up album. Like, I think it's nominated...
I think it's nominated for Best Album of the Year. It may be.
Yeah, I think it might be. Don't quote me on it. But just Janelle Monáe, I've never heard of her before this album, and I just fell in love with this,
right.
1,000%. And, like, you knew. He knew before we started recording this video. He knew when he looked at me and said, number 6, or number 7, was it?
Yeah.
But just, I don't know. Like, I love this album.
Apparently she was on We Are Young by Fun. I had no idea.
Shut up. Really?
I had no idea.
Huh.
Whenever I type in Janelle Monáe now, like, it comes up as Fun and We Are Young and featuring Janelle Monáe. I was like, where was she on this?
Weird.
But,
yeah, I don't think I hear her on that track at all, but I also haven't listened to We Are Young by Fun in probably like 3 years, 4 years.
But I guess my question is, you were talking about a couple of albums that you found no fault with.
Yeah.
But you said earlier that you could take off 2 or 3 of these songs.
Yeah.
I guess why is this one so much better than a CD that you love every song?
I think probably just because it's hard to explain. There's no like solid reason. I just had to put this as my number 1 because I come back to this album almost every day. I will listen to like a song off this album. Not the whole thing, but a song off this album. It's not for any specific mood. I think that's what really does it for me. It's not for any specific mood. It's not like I have to be in the mood to listen to this album. Like if my iPhone was on shuffle, my Spotify was on shuffle, and this came up, I don't think I can think of one time that I would just skip it.
That's fair.
You know?
Okay.
And I think that's what has to make it my number 1. It's something I always want to listen to. Like, always. And that's weird for me because, like I said, not big on pop music. But this one does it. Even like, Dirty Computer. It's such a, like, mellow, like, weird, like, synthy song. But it's just, like, it's so
It's a great
nice.
opener.
It's a great opener.
It's a fantastic opener, and going into Crazy Classic Life, I love that feel. Again, I can't deny that this is a fantastic album. Yeah. I don't see any problem with you putting it as number 1. I don't see a problem as a lot of people putting it in number 1. It's a fantastic album that, like, the fact that also, we didn't really touch on it that much, but, like, she sings, but she also raps on it, and she has a fantastic voice singing. She has a fantastic flow on Django Jane.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like there's so many great parts of this, and the undertones of talking about women's rights and talking about a lot of different feminist ideas, even like in Screwed, where there's like, what was it, money is sex, but sex is just power.
Yeah.
Just the double entendre of being screwed over. There's a lot of great things. It's just, again, we both aren't huge pop people, and I can find a couple of faults.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's not a problem. I love the CD. I go to it, back to it every now and again. There's just a couple that I go a little bit more.
Totally understand.
And it's funny that you picked the most popular CD as the most popular one of the year, because mine is one that very few people have listened to. You already know. We've talked about it. I have recommended songs from this album plenty of times. I have played you a song, and you were almost in tears. You had to stop listening to it.
Kaz exposing me as an emotional baby.
That's fine. I'm also emotional. It's totally fine. It's The War, Act 1 by The Family Crest.
Okay.
So this is a band that very few people know of. I know this is very hipstery of me. I actually didn't listen to this band until I saw them at a concert as an opening act for one of my favorite bands, The Deer Hunter. And what I love about The Deer Hunter is what I hear in a lot of the Family Crest. It blends different genres very, very well. It's very interesting in the arrangements. Every song on this album I absolutely love. There is no single song that I don't like on this album. Even, I would say probably the worst song on the album is the opener, but there's still so many interesting parts on there. As a music nerd, as someone who loves looking at music and being like very analytical and being able to get chord progressions and being able to look at, oh, this guy is singing this when everything else is going on, like time signatures, all these different things. It makes me so interested because it's very approachable music, but they do some different things on every single song that makes you want to keep listening to it. Every single song I can't find a fault with, and it's beautiful. Every single song is beautiful. There is, I love singing to every single one. I feel so much emotion whenever I listen to some of these songs. There's a song called The Years, and like one of the best parts is like, he's singing, and I think that you are the most beautiful thing that I have seen. It's just like the emotion in this person's voice. His name is Liam McCormick. He's becoming one of my favorite singers in the game. He has such a jazzy voice, but also an incredible falsetto. Fantastic. He also scats on a lot of songs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, none of these songs do I like ever skip. And for me, I almost did put Year of the Tiger as my number one, because I would say comparatively, I probably have gone back to Year of the Tiger a little bit more than this one. But when I listen to it front to back, there's like no album that I can think that's better this year. And it's crazy because it's from this little known band that, like, I try to look for like album reviews on, certain albums. I try to look at when release dates are out. No one has talked about this. There may be one person on YouTube has talked about this album. And it's like, fine, I'll just keep this as a secret. You guys find out eventually.
This belongs to me
now. Yeah, I can have this. It's fantastic. If you love like very orchestral indie rock, it's great. Also, the really cool thing about it is that like they've always had this orchestral sound, but this year they had like 100-piece orchestra with them.
Wow.
And it's just like, yeah.
What a move.
Like, power play. The War, Act 1.
Bold.
Listen to it. I really hope there's an Act 2 coming out soon, and I hope it's just as good. But, yeah, so...
Don't be disappointed.
I mean, I've played you a couple songs, and you've liked it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those albums that, yeah, it gets you in an emotional spot. And, yeah, his voice is just so beautiful. Like, so beautiful. I've always been just, like, big on the orchestral indie thing in general. That's, like, one of my favorite genres. So, yeah, no, this is a good first pick. Good top pick. When did that come out?
That came out in March.
In March.
So the fun thing was, this came out in March. Year of the Tiger came out, like, around that same time. So like those two were like solidified as like, okay, these are fantastic.
And that just means it's been like all year.
Yeah.
Like, all year.
All
that you've
year.
Been listening to these.
All year.
That's important. That's
like,
very important.
Tremonti's came out in June. God's Favorite Customer, I believe, also came out in June.
Okay.
So like a lot of these CDs came out in the earlier part of the year. I think the only one that came out in like maybe December was Esperanza Spalding's.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think any of mine came out like that late. Actually, In Sweet Crush Crusher did kind of come like later in the year.
Okay.
It was like good enough that I could put that as 3 and not feel bad about it for having listened to it like a million times since its late release.
Right. And like honestly, screw everybody that like does their things so early. Like there's a lot of people who do it right at the beginning of December. It's like you have a whole entire month of other stuff. That's like when
something's gonna come out and like bite you in the ass.
A couple years ago was Beyonce. This year, like 3 years ago, was D'Angelo putting out Black Messiah, which was phenomenal. Like it happens in December. Like so, stop. Like don't be stupid.
Hold off.
Okay, so yeah, that's our list. I know this was super long,
ridiculous,
but. Thank you for watching. If you watched all of it, I really hope you enjoy it. I would love to have her back on for a couple of album reviews. Our schedules are horrible.
We've been trying to do this for like forever.
Yeah.
for forever.
But if you enjoy what she does and want to see more, she's definitely always welcome.
Thanks, Kyle.
I guess
I had a lot of fun doing this.
One last question, if you will. Are there anything in 2019 that you are like I've already listened to or are very interested in hearing come out?
Something new? Not really. Not quite yet. I haven't heard about a lot of releases yet this year.
I know I'm putting her on the spot on this.
No, it's
one.
okay. I'm letting it ride. I'm hoping to hear more out of a couple different, just like of my favorite indie artists. I didn't get a lot of good like acoustic indie last year.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of like electronic experimental shit, but not a lot of like good acoustic quality indie. And I'm really, really, really hoping to pull some of that out in 2019, except I feel like it's kind of like a fading genre almost.
No. Well, there was a lot of good stuff. There was Snail Mail, Hop Along was good.
Hop Along was great.
Boy Genius, I really want to see something like a full album from them because that EP was fantastic. Lucy Dacus.
I don't know that.
She was part of Boy Genius. Like, these are literally people that I found on the aggregate, and I enjoyed. What else? I mean, Courtney Barnett put something on.
Courtney Barnett is such a genius.
Kurt Vile, I didn't get to listen to his, but I've heard pretty good things. Did you listen to Kurt Vile and Courtney Barnett's CD?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Slaughter Lice.
Super good. Super good, the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that's kind of... Do you have anything in particular you're looking forward to?
It's been hinted at. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but Tool is supposed to be putting out a new album.
Oh.
And I love the Perfect Circles album from last year, so I'm hoping it's good as well. I know Flaming Lips is putting out something new.
No way, really?
Something in like March or maybe?
Well, when you were talking about the robot thing, the robot plot in the other...
you were thinking of...
other talk, all I could think of was Yoshimi battles the freaking robots, and I was like, I know this is like such a different genre, but like the combination of the two plots would be so hysterical. Anyway.
I'm trying to think of like other stuff. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. I will be getting back to album reviews coming next week, so look out for that. I know it's been few and far between, but I've had to listen to at least like 90 albums like in the last month, and like I'm drained. But trust me, I got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of discography reviews I want to do. I'm even gonna start working on my next crazy fucking experiment, which will be getting ready to do the top 100 albums of the decade.
Oh Jesus!
Because 2019 is the last year for this. Yeah. So I got a lot of CDs to listen to in that case. You might not see me for a very long time. But no, of course, if you like this, give this video a like. Let me know about your favorite top 10 or, you know, what you're looking forward to next year, or I guess this year.
Try not to criticize us too harsh.
Yeah, don't criticize us too hard. Remember, it's just our opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Good quote.
Good quote. Share this with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. That would be the best thing that you can do. If I put this much time into this, and have awesome people like this come on, I hope that you subscribe so that you can see more of this. So yeah, stay tuned for a couple of album reviews, hopefully next week. But until then, this is The Music Fan. This is Ryan. We're both signing off.
And that concludes the top 50 albums of 2018. This was a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of editing, a lot of listening to music, but it's finally over, and I hope you enjoyed all of it. If you watched one video, I appreciate it. If you watched them all, I'm ecstatic. Thank you so much for investing so much time into this. I hope that you found a couple of albums that you didn't get to listen to that sparked your interest and that you actually get to listen to. And a huge thanks to Ryanne for being on with me and divulging her top 10 list. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of good banter, and I hope that you agree. She brought a lot of really good knowledge to the table. And yeah, I would love to do more videos with her. If you are interested in seeing us both do some album reviews or some digging through discographies or even talking about music in general or even doing a cover song, let me know. And just a quick update on what's going to happen next. So I'm going to go back to my original schedule, though I think I'm going to change it up a little bit because I want to try to do 4 videos a week. And that's going to be 2 Are You Ins, a digging through discography, and a 5-minute theory. And the plan I think I'm going to do is Thursday through Sunday, so that it gives me 3 days to record and edit the videos before I upload them. Hopefully that will give me a better window of time, and then all my videos will come out on time. And then I'll probably try to throw in some cover songs in bits and pieces whenever I can. So I already have a couple of Are You Ins ready, and in terms of digging through discography, I have a really cool idea for the foreseeable future. I'm going to be trying to do some of my favorite rock bands, particularly favorite grunge bands that I know well, bands that I can talk a lot about, and bands that don't need a lot of work because I already know a lot of these albums. And the reason for that is I'm trying to listen to albums from all across the decade so I can get ready for my top 100 of the 10s, if you will. So I already have this all planned. All that's going to come out starting this coming week, if you will. And the first band I'm going to be looking at for digging through discography is Stone Temple Pilots. So enjoy that. And I will see you guys all Thursday, hopefully for a new 5-minute theory. Until then, this is the Music Fan signing off.